it's been 9 years of the Modi government. What we are looking at now is an assessment done by people on the ground on some of the biggest issues that people are facing. It is Lokniti-CSDS poll. 7,200 plus individuals across the country have been asked questions on the key issues. We've covered this yesterday and we are covering it now. By the end of it, I think the goal over here is to give you a sense of where we are as a nation on the basis of opinions of a large cross-section of Indian citizens. So what is the biggest issue facing India today? 29% of those polled say unemployment is the biggest issue. 22% say poverty. Price rise is 19%. Corruption is 5%. Others, there are 24% say that there are other factors over here as well. I just want to, before getting a question, and point out that yesterday we looked at the issue of corruption and how significant it was in the lives of people. But I think if you look at it in terms of other issues, which is the graphic that we have over here, corruption is actually a very small percentage. It is unemployment which is a concern. You know, we keep talking about skill development. We keep talking about the importance of that. We talk about our GDP growth, the macro level numbers, but then if you've got a concern of 29% of those polled saying that, you know, where jobs, what does that indicate?
Okay, I'm afraid I'll sound like a broken record. Again, on this question, what I get out of it, okay, first of all, it should be emphasized, you're telling the person we're only going to talk about problems. So, unemployment, you rank the problems, but these are all things
were
that you're
these categories given, or is this,
no,
they were not given?
No, these are not categories which are offered, and these
yeah,
are
that's important.
No,
Dr. Bhalla.
Exactly. No, what does the question say?
So he didn't ask what is the issue. He just asked, name us the issues.
Biggest issue facing India, and they themselves do it, and I've done this service, and Sanjay's done. These will occur all the time. So what is it? What is the takeaway I get from this? One, given what we just discussed, price rise is only 19%. Just on the previous question,
yeah, of course.
Price rise, inflation is not that much of a concern.
Yeah.
Okay. Second, corruption is
minor.
only 5%.
Right.
I would have thought, you know, so they, again, a comparative picture, how was this question, and I'm sure...
No, but Dr. Bhalla, focus on unemployment. That's what I'm asking you.
Just one second. You know, it is 29%. Now, look,
that's
with
huge.
7% unemployment, right? That's the unemployment rate in the country. So, you know, they rank it this way. I mean, I honestly, for me, all the time, it is the delta. It is a change. And I recognize in a cross-section survey, you can't have too many questions. And it's very difficult to interpret changes. But I'm not surprised, as I said, I'm only surprised by the low number of corruption and by the relatively low percentage who think that price rise, remember the previous question, 57% said your opinion on government's handling of price rise.
Yeah.
Okay? 57% was bad.
Yeah.
Now when you ask what is the problem facing you, inflation is only by 19%. Mm-hmm. So it's a bit difficult to read these numbers, but I'm not complaining that something else. I think these are some of these questions, the more absolute questions. How has your condition improved or worsened? It's a much easier question to answer, and there the overwhelming answer is that really things have improved.
Nija, I would tend to disagree a little bit with Dr. Bhalla. I think politically this is a hot potato. Is it?
Well, you know, I don't know, you know, the data is saying that.
And I'll come to Sanjay next.
But you go around and talk to people. I mean, if you go around the streets, stop and talk to people, they will tell you they are hurting. Now, to what extent it will affect their voter choice, we don't know. They have to choose between alternatives. Certainly, unemployment is the first thing people say. I find a lot of people talk about prices today. It's, you know, the hardship is increasing. It's what Sanjay was saying earlier. You know, it may not have been that much in 14 and 19, but it is increasing. It's something that the government and BJP will have to take note of. You know, I had a place I go to, it's a small story. to buy my vegetables. The fellow turned to me and said, "आप तो मीडिया से हो ना, पहले 10 साल पहले तो आप इतना हल्ला कर रहे थे, दाम बढ़ गए, आज आप लोग क्यों नहीं लिख रहे हो इसके बारे में?"
Sanjay, how do you assess this pie chart?
No, I just want to extend what Neerja ji was saying. Say, if you ask to someone on the street, they will say berojgari बढ़ गई, unemployment and price rise. What is this data? Data is an aggregation of the opinion of the people across the country, and the data suggests what you actually experience on the street. You go to the village, you go to your neighborhood market, you go to any place, people are talking about unemployment, people are talking about price rise. So to me it's no surprise. That's a different question whether this is going to be the issue on which they are likely to vote or not. But people are really talking about unemployment, price rise and poverty. These are the main issues of the people, common citizen of this country.
You know, one other thing, Vishnu, I want to say, and this is a question mark in my mind. In Karnataka, to what extent did the economic hardship affect the voter choice insofar as they rejected the Hindu-Muslim issue and went for some other thing? Now,
No, from our own survey, it was economic issues which affected them.
No,
and corruption
Okay. Look,
in Karnataka.
In Karnataka.
The 40% commission sarkar
So this is
was
at a
an
national
issue.
level, so it's a bit different, but the economic issues were what some would suggest, and it's been backed by our own polls done with Sanjay, you know, what they were the dominant themes.
can I
So-
just...
Can I say something on this also?
Neerja,
so-
finish and I'll come to you, yeah?
Yeah, so of course it could be a factor. Karnataka is a southern state, things may be different in Karnataka.
Sure.
It may become very different in the Hindi heartland states. So we cannot generalize from Karnataka, but certainly it's a question in your mind. Are people moving away from the Hindu-Muslim polarization to the nitty-gritty issues of daily life?
But Vishnu, if somebody believes that unemployment is not a problem, price rise is not a problem, I think he or she is closing his eyes from the reality of this country. And this is what data is showing.
One second. Nobody is saying that unemployment is not a problem. I'm not saying price rise is not a problem. I'm not saying corruption is not a problem. I'm just saying that, look, let me give you by an example. After all, this is all done, the survey, to get at voters' attitudes. That's at the background. Now, I went to Karnataka on election visit, etc. And I wrote, in the article that I wrote, I said what was remarkable this time in Karnataka, when you went to the villages, when you went to the villages, there were no idle men standing around. Whereas I've been traveling, as you know, for the last 30 years, every time around
And yet
election
on
time.
economic issues,
I did not see any poverty, and other people
but
also.
people have
One
been
second.
talking about that.
Listen.
It's been statistically backed, Dr. Bhalla.
What?
In a survey that we have done on this network before the elections, the dominant theme was economic issues of unemployment, issues of poverty. Right, Sanjay?
Yeah.
In Karnataka. I mean,
look,
many would suggest that's what defined the election. In
Many would
Karnataka, along with
suggest,
corruption.
and many could be right, and many could be wrong. This is...
No, it's just an opinion.
Yes, just an
but
opinion.
just bear with
All
me. I
I'm
want to
saying
quickly go on
is
to the
that
next point.
there
Yeah.
is no statistical evidence to suggest that in Karnataka, which is where Aankhon Dekha Hal, where I went and other people went, nobody mentioned that poverty was an issue there. We went to the villages, very well developed.
But I disagree.
So I think
Sanjay,
something else.
what did our surveys actually show? It showed just and this was a poll. It was a scientific poll.
See, Vishnu, just to remind the viewers that we did a poll just before the Karnataka Assembly election, and we got a sense that there is a huge divide in terms of party choices by class of the people. Poorer the voter, more anti he was the BJP, because they tended to vote for Congress. So economic issues, lump sum economic issue, seem to be dominating the vote choice. That seems to have happened.
Okay,
It is very clear.
I need
from
to
the
quickly
verdict
move
of
on because we're
Karnataka.
going to end up running out of time. We could talk for hours on all of this. Two related points on the issue of development. Who has benefited the most? 36% say the wealthy have benefited the most. 38% say everyone has benefited. 18% say no one, and 8% say no response. your opinion on the government handling of farmer issues. 39% say good, 8% say average, a very considerable 46% say the government's handling of farmer issues has been bad, 7% have no response. Nija, the farmer issues is both an economic issue and it is a socio-political issue. It's become a political hot potato in this country. If that is something which people have heard of, and that's 46% say government's not handled the farmer issue well, or they've done it badly in fact, what is that? What is the potential political significance of that?
See, I think, you know, that the farmers' agitation, that they went back on the farm laws, I think the government got a sense that things were not going well. And that, the fact that Aam Aadmi Party won Punjab so convincingly was also a political indication that the farmers were not happy at all. Now, how the things are going to pan out in Western UP voted, the Jats are supposed to be also not, the farmers in Western UP not very happy, and some of the local polls showed that in Western UP recently. So, how the Haryana elections go, how Rajasthan elections go, it will have a bearing. But certainly the farmers' issue is a live issue in this particular belt, also Madhya Pradesh, I would say.
You know, the bad, 46%, the largest negative response on any of the questions.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Now, are people saying that, listen, the government should not have given in and should have passed the farm laws? Or are they saying, so is the handling of the farmer issue the fact that the government withdrew the farm bill?
Yeah.
This is an open question which we should discuss. It is not at all clear to me that it means that the government, they certainly handled it badly from my view and from her view, from everybody's view. Because I think they should have stuck to that position and should have passed the farm laws, because I think it benefits.
Sure.
Only 3%, I mean, let's not go into the numbers, etc. Listen, the rich farmers really, really protested. So all of this thing, poverty matters, growth matters, people are voting on economic conditions, and then you have farm response, bad. I think the people are saying the government should have passed the farm laws.
Is that a fair interpretation, Sanjay, in your opinion?
That's Professor Bhalla's interpretation. That's not my interpretation.
What is your interpretation?
Yeah. So my own sense is that people believe that, because what was the mood in the country? What people were looking at? The people were looking at that the farmers are, sitting on a dharna, there has been no dialogue, etc., etc. So generally sense was that there was no dialogue, etc., and government was not handling it properly. That's the sense I am getting, that people generally believe that the issue was not handled properly.
Okay.